What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to The Order. It's time to talk teams in Midnight Suns. We've already discussed the characters and the basics of combat in the game, but now it's time to talk about constructing the best possible teams and which characters will pair well together. Now, bear in mind, this video is being made pre-launch, so there's a lot of information we still don't know about when it comes to certain character stats, combat items, and more. So much of what we'll talk about today is going to lean more so on the conceptual than the practical, but my goal is to provide a straightforward guide to how to think about team construction in Midnight Suns. So let's get started. Now, in order to understand who might pair well with who, we need to figure out the best approach to building a 3-member squad. As I mentioned in a previous video, each character in Midnight Suns largely fits into one of the 3 classic Trinity archetypes: tanks, DPS, and support. And while a team consisting of characters who fit into each of those roles is a fair way of approaching things, this may also be an oversimplification of what is possible with your roster construction. Bear in mind, most of the characters bring a bit more to the table than just what that classification would indicate, which is vital when it comes to forming the most effective group. Doctor Strange and Nico are not just healers, they bring a wealth of ability to the table, whether it be buffs, debuffs, damage, that can fundamentally improve any squad. Captain Marvel is labeled as a tank, but her kit leans heavily in the direction of offense. So rather than purely looking at it through the lens of roles, when it comes to building a squad in Midnight Suns, I think there are 3 fundamental items your group needs to check off: a diverse array of DPS options, some form of proper damage mitigation, and an effective balance of the heroism meter. Let's start with damage mitigation. Essentially, does your team have a character who can help reduce enemy attack effectiveness through some form of survivability mechanic, like blocking or self-healing, and can you reduce the damage taken by more vulnerable characters? In missions where you are constantly swarmed by enemies, having the ability to ensure that your characters are not being overwhelmed is really important. This, of course, is where your tanks typically come in, but you may be able to get away with this role being filled by a character with a wide array of buffs, debuffs, and utility. Having a reliable method of keeping the team alive is vital. Next up, diverse DPS. Do you have enough range damage, melee damage? Do you have enough AoE attacks? Do you have enough burst damage against elite enemies? Pigeonholing your damage dealing is a cardinal sin in a game like this, and you need to have enough methods for dealing damage as possible, bearing in mind that the damage output doesn't need to all come from one DPS character. Lastly, and this one is critical when it comes to proper team synergy, is the balancing of your team's heroism. Building up and using heroism effectively and efficiently figures to be a massive part of mission success, as many of the character's best and most essential skills rely on it. Because of this, having a squad and a deck of abilities too reliant on heroic cards could lead to repeatedly bricked hands where you simply don't have enough heroism built up for everyone to use the given cards on hand. So having a team that balances building up heroism through actively playing attack and skill cards with deploying heroic abilities at the right time is crucial to proper team construction. So now that we've got a handle on the qualities we're looking for in a good squad, here are a few teams I think would work extremely well together. Wolverine figures to be a pillar character in Midnight Suns, so pairing him with just about anyone feels like it can make for a great team. But the combination of Logan, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man may be the best pure Trinity composition in the game. Wolverine's raw survivability and taunts, combined with Strange's ability to buff, well, everything, while providing game-changing heroism generation through his passive, feeds well into Iron Man's redraw-heavy, slow-burn damage dealing. Wolverine can keep enemy groups busy with buffed attacks from Strange, while Iron Man builds up his own attacks through redraws before unleashing them with devastating power. The sheer amount of heroism generation and utility amongst this team is insane, and it really feels like there isn't a jam this group can't get out of. This will undoubtedly be one of the most used teams in Midnight Suns. Captain America, Scarlet Witch, and Magik is an extremely fun team that can absolutely devastate an enemy group with an unparalleled amount of control. The synergy is just so strong here. Open a portal or drop with Magik, and Cap has the knockback ability to send them flying, while Wanda creates chaos for everyone else. With Cap's ability to mitigate damage through taunts and blocks while offering solid damage output of his own, Magik's ability to gather enemies and whip them around the map with her portals, all feeding into Scarlet Witch's cluster of AoE abilities, this is a team that can simply manipulate the battlefield like no other. In missions where mob density is high, few teams can compare to this group in terms of both crowd control and utter crowd decimation. We haven't mentioned the Hunter yet, so here's an ideal team centered around our main hero and the pairing of Captain Marvel and Spider-Man. With the Hunter operating in more of a support role, this team is focused on getting Captain Marvel into her binary stance quickly by playing Captain Marvel cards, while using Spider-Man's ability to do damage without consuming a lot of heroism, allowing for the heroism flow to go to Carol. Since Captain Marvel leans more offense than defense as a tank, the Hunter can help fill the damage mitigation gap through healing and utility. But here's what makes this team particularly devastating. One of the Hunter's most important skills, Holy Gift, can allow you to play a card like Spider-Man's Infernal Spider twice, meaning you can set up a scenario where up to 6 Spider-Man cards will not cost you a single card play. That's game-changing. You could then focus your card plays on building up or maintaining Captain Marvel's binary and keeping the overcharged offense up as much as possible. When played properly, this is a potentially destructive combination of characters. I really feel like there are going to be so many incredible team compositions in Midnight Suns, and with the game's replayability factor, we'll have plenty of opportunities to experiment, mixing and matching and trying out different combinations of characters. Let me know in the comments below what teams or character pairings you're most excited to try, and if you liked this video and found it helpful, please be sure to hit it with a like and subscribe to the channel for more Midnight Suns content. Till next time, have a good one.